Oh, good evening. Welcome to Rangers Radio. Sorry for the slight delay. Twos were ready. Somebody was getting their makeup finished. Join myself on the show this evening is Jaffa and Port Bear. Evening, gentlemen.
Evening, Ox. How you doing? Evening, Port. Good to be on with you, mate.
Good to be on me, mate. Evening, Ox. Yeah, just putting on the lip gloss there, mate, so I can, make it look
Some people think we're kidding, Jaffa, but we know the truth, mate.
I tell you, I left one of the dirty mix line about in the office earlier on there.
See, when I saw that, I asked him what honey used to wipe his backside. I was a bit puzzled. Anyway, we digress. Oh, come on, Rangers. Jaffa, come on, Rangers.
Absolutely, Ox. Right, we just need attitude, performance, tempo, combination of that, Ox, and we need to get absolutely wired into them tomorrow. Just forget everything, forget all the nonsense. Sorry, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. Just nice and quiet. It's been there's been not a lot said. Well, I quite like it that way. And just get into them tomorrow. Just absolutely get wired into them. There's no fans there. So it's down to the 15 or the 16 guys that are going to get picked. They're going to play the game tomorrow. So for me, it's just a sleeves rolled up, Ox, and just get wired right into them.
Put the ball in the net, Port Bear. Take the crowd out it. Put the ball in the net. Make them get in.
That's it. That's one of the hardest acts today, Ox. Put the ball in the back of the net, but we have got players that can do it. That will silence the crowd. And like I said the other night, that's how you silence that crowd, mate. And I keep mentioning this swinging pendulum of pressure. If we put a dent in them, Ox, I'm telling you, we could have helicopter Sunday all over again.
I was going to have a game of pass a parcel. I didn't get in the day because the sun was out. Jeff and I found £600,000. My God.
Well, funny enough, I was going to say, you asked me what kind of week I had. I wakened up the other morning and I thought the landscapers had moved in next door to me.
I don't know what to do with it. Oh, well. They gave you orders. Oh, they've not got any orders. Anyway, we digress. Aye, listen, the guys that's gone there tomorrow playing for that jersey, they've got to realise they're representing themselves, their families, and hundreds and maybe even millions of people all over the world, Jaffa.
Yep, and that's exactly what it comes down to, Ox. They've got, I know we use that term, it's often used that, Jock Wallace patented the battle fever on. They've got to the guys have got to look at each other in the eye. The 11 in particular that's starting tomorrow. I see Tavernier talking about how they start and stuff like that, and he's 100% right. Don't go away, don't give away cheap goals. Don't make it easy for them. Just win your individual battles, Ox. And they usually, in that case, if you do win, if each player wins their individual battle, the rest of the game will take care of itself. And ultimately, don't be frightened. Be brave. Be absolutely 110% brave. And be up for the fight, because it will be a fight, and it'll be the same as most Old Firm games. The way they pan out, the tempo will be heavy. They'll come out with all guns blazing. We've got to be up for that. We've also got to come out with all guns blazing and fight fire with fire. And for me, the best team will win. And if our players play like you often say, Ox, with the quality of player that we've got in our team and in our squad, we play, we win.
Yeah, we're going to play that James Tavernier interview, Pop, but there's no point now.
Jaffa Tavernier.
Port, when the game starts, when the noise settles, it's about passing the ball, and I felt that the games we've started in the last two Old Firm games and the early one this season, they were all individual errors, usually bad passing, and passes that we don't have to make or we get wrong. If we keep the ball and pass it like we should, we'll win the game, mate.
As you said, mate, cut out individual errors. If you look back at probably the last few games, they've not exactly cut us open next year. They've not played as Afford Park apart from the game, I think, was it a 4-1 game at Parkhead, where I thought that they just destroyed us that night. But after that, I can't remember the last time they cut us open and, played through us and made us look, made the gap look massive between the two teams. Every game's been tight, and unfortunately, individual errors. The one that really gave me up there was the last one when Ryan Jacks had just put it right out of the stadium. When it's in the 6-yard box, they cut it back to Kyogo and he hits it in the net. You know what I mean? That's actually just been put in rose head for me. Simple defending. That's a must, mate. They have to talk about this all week. Individual errors. You can't give teams a start, Oxtail. Don't encourage them. That's the last thing you want to do going to the Lions' Den, is encourage them, but give them an easy goal. Then next minute the stadium's up, they're on, lifts the team, and all of a sudden you're really feeling the pressure. I want us to do that to them, mate.
Yeah. In general, Jaffer, the first goal is usually pivotal in these games. Bizarre, the stats tell you that, but not always. But obviously, if you get a goal, it gives you more belief. Yeah, if you go one up.
Yeah, it does, Ox, and that's what goals does. It breeds confidence throughout the team. It breeds confidence, and it breeds a security, because you're then from a position of strength. As it does to the opposition, it can be draining, and it can drain the opposition, and make them start making mistakes and lose their head and lose their cool and lose their game plan. And the exact opposite happens if you go the goal up. It encapsulates you, makes you more powerful going forward, and you can then choose your passing a bit wiser because you're not as much under pressure. But these games are difficult in that respect, because you're right. Usually the first goal is pivotal, and the last game where we went one up and we gave them again 2 cheap goals, and they came back from it at Ibrox last year, earlier on in the season. That was dreadful that day, and we've got to ensure that the individual errors are absolutely ironed out and concentrate.
What game are you talking about?
The one I'm getting mixed up. Sorry, I'm getting mixed up. I'm thinking about the 2-2 game.
Right, they went one up. Yeah,
they went one up. Yep.
Yeah. All right. And we get the first goal we lost was shocking, Jaffa, and the second goal was Portwright says Ryan Jack wasn't switched on. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, Alfie, played the blind in the early part of the first half, and then Tavernier tries to nick it away, and he makes it worse and just plays it into Maeda, who just runs in and scores. The 2 goals were terrible, and I agree with what Port was saying there. They even in the game in the cup final, they very nearly cut us open, Ox. They got in behind us, but they very rarely cut us open. We just get caught flat-footed, and those individual errors have got to be ironed out. And I have to say, in recent weeks against other teams in the league, we've not been making as many individual errors. I have to say, at the back, the back fours look much more solid in that respect.
Yep. All right. Right. We're going to hear for the gaffer, and then we'll come back on. We'll get the phone lines open, and then we'll hear your team, Jaffa, what you're thinking the team's going to be. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if Port's changed his mind, the other night he's been on. If that's all right, we'll use 2 chaps.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, let's get the bells in.
Let's hear for your manager, Michael Beale.
Michael, how excited are you for this game? How ready do you feel you and your team are?
Well, the team arrive at the game in fine form of 10 consecutive league wins, and this is the biggest test going away from home that we've had, albeit our away form's been very good. So we're certainly looking forward to the game.
How much confidence can you take from that away form being so good? Some of your best performances since you've come in have been away from home.
Yeah, of course. I think we've obviously scored a number of goals, and you would say in the last 3 or 4 away games that we've missed big chances to score even more. And so look, we're in a positive place. It's a game we've been looking forward to as a squad, and now it's important that certainly after this, the talking's done. It's important that the players now execute the game plan and perform.
What needs to change from that game at Hampden a month ago?
Well, both games since I came back in the derby, we've started slow in both. Have improved after half time, but certainly need to make sure that we start this game well, that we're strong defensively, and we carry a big threat going forward with our key players. I think that's the importance of any big game, that you stay strong in your structure, but also you at the right times you go and play and express yourself, and we'll pick a team to go and win the game. Nicholas Raskin's fit and has trained all week, so he's got 3 or 4 training sessions behind him, so there's no issues there with Nico. No, nothing major, just the normal bumps and bruises, but no, nothing major.
If you're to win the league this season, Michael, do you have to win this game on Saturday?
I think that's obvious. We've obviously, since I come back in, it's 15 league games, 14 wins and a draw. We've played our part. It's fair to say Celtic have played their part as well and have done equally as well as us, because our form's been fantastic, and the players in that sense have done nearly everything they can do. After tomorrow, we'll know whether we're 3 points closer, whether we're no closer, or we're 3 points further behind. I think ultimately, all we can do is win our games, and it's Celtic's league to throw away or to lose, if you like. And it doesn't look like at this moment in time, outside of the games with us, that they will drop points.
You're talking about starting slow in this fixture. Is that just as much a mentality thing than an ability situation out on the field? What can you do to make sure that's different?
It's things that we talk about. It's important that we start well tomorrow. We're going away from home and with no fans, so the home crowd will be up. And it's important that we start strong and we start winning the duels. And we were too slow in both games. That's not the Rangers in this fixture that I remember, but it's the Rangers that in this fixture that I've inherited. And it's important that we show a different face, for sure. And I think that's common knowledge. That's nothing that I'm not saying anything there that will surprise anyone. We have to start in big games stronger.
Big defeats or convincing defeats in the last 2 of the last 3 visits to Celtic Park. Are you battle scarred in anywhere? Do you use that as a motivation in a way to prove a point?
It's a different manager now, some different players, some players who are coming into this game for the first time as well, and we're in a rich vein of form. So there's no reason why we wouldn't put a stronger performance on. As I say, we come off the back of 10 consecutive league wins. That's not by coincidence. That's because we're playing very well, and all I'll ask the players to do is to bring the best version of themselves to this game.
How does the lack of any of your own fans change the mentality the team have to have going there with 60,000 against you basically and no one in your corner?
Well, 600 or 700 is better than none, but it's still a small amount, so we have to get on and play the game. I would prefer in this game if there was some fans involved, like in any stadium, that you want to take your travelling fans, but at the same time, the decision has been made now, so we just move forward. It will be the same for Celtic when they come to Ibrox for the return league fixture.
And would you like to see it eventually get back up to the full allocation, 7,000 or so fans, in terms of the spectacle of the derby? I
never experienced it. So to be fair, this is my 16th game against Celtic. 2 have been at Hampden, so there's been the split and the atmosphere in those games have been fantastic. But for all the league games, I've never known that. I can only listen to what other people say, and I think that everybody has an opinion that we should have some fans if we can, logistically, and hopefully moving forward that is the case.
And in the last 2 games, you've had decent spells in both of them. But how do you plan to impose yourself on Celtic for longer spells in the game to get the result you need?
Well, if you look at the majority of the games we play, we're a possession-based team. So it's important that we take the ball and we stay with it and we get our attacking players on the ball, whether that's Todd, Malik, Ryan, breaking from midfield. It's important that those guys go and show their quality. And if we get moments, we have to execute. And we had big moments at Ibrox. We had big moments at Hampden as well, and we didn't execute. And ultimately, it comes down to the boxes. You'd like to be dominant in between them, but big games are won in the 2 penalty boxes, and the games are always tight and are always generally won and lost in moments, whether that's off a set play or a moment of brilliance. They generally are won in the final third. It's important that our big players step up tomorrow.
Michael, since that game at Hampden, Todd Cantwell's really come to the fore. Nicholas Raskin's played a lot more football. How key will these 2 players that came in January be tomorrow? Do you feel you were almost a bit of a different team from that Hampden game, even though it was only maybe 6 or 7 weeks ago?
We're definitely a different team from the first game. So I was only back 3 or 4 weeks, and the confidence levels. The final was hugely disappointing. From that, we've bounced back really well. Todd and Nico are big players for us moving forward, not just for this one fixture, of course. And they've brought a nice energy into the group, I think, and certainly have shown that they've got qualities moving forward. But this is the start of their Rangers career, and this is the sort of games that they need to play and play well in.
How important, Michael, is it to have those fresh players? You mentioned about being a new manager and some new players going into the game at Parkhead tomorrow. How important is that, having some new players? Yeah, and moving forward, there'll be more and more that come in over the next few windows as well to add an energy and a change of a variety into our team. And I think we've done reasonably well of late. As I say, the league form's been strong, but it's important in these last few games towards the end of the season and 3 derbies that we continue to show that, because it will form and shape people's futures at the club. You speak there about making sure your team do themselves justice on the ball. Is that just a confidence thing? Do you feel in the last 2 Old Firm games your team's been able to hold the ball and play through enough? I think we have to get closer. We need to get closer out of possession. We need to get up and get closer to people and play with more intensity, and we have to play a derby for what it is. And we ain't got time for people to wait, and we need to have good energy and good application on the pitch. And all of that gives you the foundations to play football. You've got to go and take the football, and you've got to be good in key moments. And so whatever your tactics are in possession, it's often comes off the back of your organisation, your willingness to go and press and take the ball. And I think tomorrow you've got 2 teams that respect each other, and it's important we impose our style on Celtic as much as we can if we want to get a positive performance and result.
What does that do for the confidence and belief of this group?
I think obviously it will be a key thing. I think nothing will take away the disappointment that we've experienced this season. So 3 points tomorrow is not going to take it away. It just starts moving us in the right direction. We're certainly a team that are trying to do that, and we're evolving all the time in terms of the style and the ideas I have, and certainly a big performance tomorrow will underline some of the good work that's going on, or it will keep the noise as loud as it's been.
I think in the build-up to these games, the fans during the week, there's this kind of emotional build-up. I think some Rangers fans call it getting battle fever. Do you feel that same sort of emotional build-up to these matches when you're on Celtic at the weekend?
No, listen, I enjoy the big games. They're the reason that you work. There's a reason that you're in the game. The eyes of the people are on this game this weekend, and that's a huge privilege to be involved in. It's similar to the European games and all the big domestic games. Certainly away from home, you feel a difference as well, because you know it's a big game and the other team's going to come for you. We're going to the home of our biggest rivals, who are in fantastic form. We feel we're in fantastic form as well, so there's a huge opportunity for both sets of players tomorrow, and naturally we want to come away from there having shown a better face than the last game.
Stevie, to finish.
Michael, what's the attitude and performance been like in training this week? Do you notice a kind of determination? There's been a lot said about putting a better footing in these kind of games. Do you get the sense that the players are ready to do that?
I think the players arriving in the place, arriving at the moment of the game in a good place. What more could we ask for than our form coming into this game? So you try to keep calm, you give them details. This is 2 teams that know each other well. This is the 4th game this season. There's 2 more to come. So it's not like we don't know each other. So you try to keep it down to the details, and then you try to go into the game with a lot of familiarity and clarity in terms of the roles that they have. You don't try to come up with anything new. You try to keep the players very stable, focused on what we are, and then it's over to the players to execute, and you support them as best you can. And I'm sure at some moments of the game tomorrow I'll have to make big decisions to help the team as well. So it's been a really calm week, and we're looking forward to the game.
Just going back to something you said a couple of weeks ago, you said that you were looking forward to seeing if guys like Todd Cantwell, Nico Raskin, Malik Tillman could go and insert themselves on games like this and really perform. Do you look forward to that, aside of obviously being the manager and everything that goes with that? Do you look forward to the excitement of seeing, because you've obviously got a lot of faith in these guys, seeing whether or not they can go and carry that out, and these are the games where you want them to really do it?
Yeah, I think, listen, that you work with these boys every day and you want what's best for them and best for your club, and you want them to perform well and do well. It's a big opportunity for all the players on the pitch tomorrow. But certainly I'm looking at players in the bigger games in terms of forming the decisions I make moving forward. I think that's fair to say. I think most managers are the same. The big games are the ones where you get the best feedback after it. You try to put it all into relation because it is just one performance and 3 points. But certainly you look at your players on days like tomorrow and see who can stand up and be counted. And we've got a really committed group. We're in a good place. There's nothing not to look forward to in terms of the game, and it will certainly give us feedback, that's for sure.
Well, thanks for that. We're back, gentlemen.
Oh, back, Ox.
Yeah, mate, ready to go, yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk there, but I think the biggest thing that will come out of it from our point of view is that Raskin's trained all week and the manager seems quite happy with him. Jaffa, is he playing or is he not playing? Give us Jaffa's 11.
My 11 for tomorrow, Ox, is McGregor, back four as we were. Tav, Goulson, Davies, and Barisic. Middle two is Raskin and Jack. And the middle three is Cantwell, Kent and Sakala.
Centre forward, mate?
Cholak.
I knew he was confident, Portberg, but he was going to be 10 men there.
I love that confidence, mate. I really do. I think that's the sort of confidence we need to have. I really do. I think we need to be mega confident. Jaffa's confidence. Jaffa, I agree with you, mate. 10 men, we'll beat them.
Portberg, Raskin starting there?
But did he say he's trained 3 or 4 of the sessions?
All week.
He's trained all week, sorry. Right, well, it starts for me, Ox, yeah. I know I said during the week I wanted to protect him because we weren't sure of how much. I know what there was guys saying, give him the first 45, give him 60, give him 70, but I was I was fearful of. I was fearful of injuring him worse and then we lost him for the rest of the season because I think having Nicholas Raskin a teammate makes our midfield more forward thinking and more dynamic. So that's why I wanted to make sure the wee fella was 100%. And to me, if you've trained all week, that tells me he's near 100%, mate. So the match, maybe a wee bit rusty in the match sharpness area, but what a difference he'll make in going forward in the team next year. No doubt about that.
So give us, I think we pretty much all agree. I mean, there's a couple of people come on, played with a back three with Suter on it. Everybody's entitled to their opinion and could see the rationale, but I think most people are saying our goalie, as an Alan McGregor, usual back four. So he's your front 6, mate. So what you playing now?
Right, so I'm going with Jack and Raskin. That's my 2 that are going to cover. But obviously Raskin will get further forward, but he can take turns because Jack's proved he can, and a link with my front players as well. But I'm going to go with Kent, Tillman, and Sakala. Next year is my 3, and I'm going to go with Cholak up front.
Okay.
And the reason that is because I think if Tillman gets close to Cholak, I think he's better, mate, when there's somebody close to him. And if Ken can provide and Sakala can provide, he's 7 assists and 7 goals this season, the wee fella. And then obviously Raskin is also a forward thinking. He's more than just a midfield general, mate. He's proved his passing and his quality. He can provide them defence splitting passes, mate. So I think it's important to get Tillman close to Cholak and let them 2 link up together.
All right. The only trouble with that is I see with that, what you're saying there is the 2 in the midfield, Jaffa, they've got a lot of work to do because if it is Tillman that plays in front of them, the boys always looking to go forward. And they can't well put.
It's hard, Docs, Jared. It's either Cantwell or Tillman, mate. That's to me, that's a flip. It's a flip of a coin. So do you think? What my thinking is, if it's Cantwell, he does work back and gets forward, and he is dangerous. But I'm trying to think of someone that's going to sit on, like I said the other night. We need somebody to sit on their quarterback, Callum McGregor, because everything comes through this guy. And if
Tillman is Tillman the type to have that discipline to do that?
Well, that's the question, isn't it? So that's what I'm saying to you. Do we take the guile and the maverick out the team that scored, I think it's 4 goals in the last 2 games, is it? Or 4 goals in 3, in Tillman? Or do we go with the guy that's probably more disciplined and could be that guy to sit on McGregor and, disrupt and make sure nothing comes through him and also be that forward-thinking and creative player? I just think it's a 50-50 toss between them two, mate. That's how close I rate to them.
Jaffa, the good thing is you could even go, if you went with that, you could go with, you could have Cholak on the bench, and you could move them on, have Cantwell on the right, and then move Sakala through the middle, who did one of them there with his pace, because there's always spaces there. We're hearing a wee whisper that Alfie might not even be involved tomorrow, but watch your space.
Ox, I'm going to just make a wee correction to my team. That's why I hesitated with the Cholak. I'd actually written down and I'd scribbled the name out because I made an error here as I was doing the team. Actually, my front 4 was Cantwell, Tillman, Sakala and Kent, and that was the system that he played, that rotation against Hearts at Tynecastle away. I think that would be highly effective. But I do...
Have you been on the drugs again?
I think that's a possibility.
Check Tynecastle away and check how many goals Alfredo Morelos scored.
2 that night.
So how did he fit into that when he wasn't playing? You know me in Easter Road away, I'll give you that one.
Easter Road. I think I'm losing my mind. I'm doing a bridge, man, here.
Right, okay. Jaffa, listen, thanks for the call. Don't be a stranger, and we'll speak to you soon.
Aye, report to HR Monday morning, mate.
Listen, I've been working all day, to be fair to myself. I've had a hard shift.
I'm not even going to call him. Did you kiss all the customers, cheerio?
I certainly did. I even gave them a wee peck in the cheek, a wee feathered peck.
Right, okay, but what the point I'm going to make is, all of a sudden we've got bits and pieces of options. Yeah, we've got things that we can do differently. We can personnel. John Lundstrom, and people are taking him out of the team, and I think the manager might play him, but I wouldn't play him.
Aye, I get Alex here. It's like I says, we go from one extreme to having all these injuries to the other, where we've only signed 2 players in January, and all of a sudden we've got players back for injury, and the quality on the bench and on the pitch is improved vastly. And you mentioned this the other night, 15 to 16 players this might take to win this game. We've still got Hadji, who's still coming back, another maverick, another match winner in the day. You know what I mean? So we've got a lot of choices, a lot of threat, and like Jaffa says, the movement we can't, and having that sort of free roll, Tillman the team or Cantwell or whoever it is, the movement of them going, left to right, switching wings, etc., mate, could really cause them problems. And that raw pace that we've got up front Oxford, I asked for this a while back, if you remember, but I said, I don't like that long ball, that long diagonal. Sometimes it's not the nowadays, football, but needs must. We've got Ben Davis, mate, who can play a love diagonal, and we've got Goldson, who can play the same 40-yard, 50-yard pass, and it's a Sakala or where it be Kent. So I think, like I've always said, mate, get this team turning. They don't like it. Starfelt's slow. Carter Vickers is slow. They don't like turning. at all, mate. And I'm hearing a wee rumour, mate, that Hattati's injured, by the way, and won't make it.
Well, wee rumour, mate. It's been on other sites.
Oh, is it? Sorry. Right, sorry. Yeah.
He's too old.
It's Tuesday,
You just know how important he is to them, Ox. We were talking about it the other night.
Oh, I don't know how he's important. I know where you live, a lot of people watch them, but where I come from, nobody watches them. Right, okay, interesting. Right, I tell you what, to get some decent people on the bit of sense, I'm going to open the phone line.
Oh, you better.
Right, let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
It's the last time you are getting in the blue room before the show, the two of you.
Jack Daniels has went to Manapa.
Aye, it's interesting. Positives as the back four. Young Ridvan, obviously, he's not ready. He's a boy with maybe need to part and get him fit for next year. Hopefully, Tom Lawrence and maybe even Raskin. It's a building process for next year. We'll see what it takes us. Hopefully, he's got a big point to play this year, this season, and we'll see where it goes. But we'll ask the punters out there, and we'll get a will he start? It's simple, yes or no. Yes or no. Used to have said yes, sir.
I'm going with Raskin, Ox. Yeah, I think he'll start.
We'll get a poll. Simple. Will Nico Raskin start? Yes or no? We'll even make it easy for you. Y or N? That doesn't sound too good, does it? Yes or no? Stick to yes or no.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Aye. So we've got three centre forwards. Arguably, our best leader in the line is Alfredo Morelos, a fit and hungry Alfred. Our best finisher is Kolak. And the guy that causes chaos with raw pace and we don't know what he's going to do. It's fashion. So we'll get a different kind. But the only thing we've not really got in that position is what you would call a traditional target man, if that makes sense, Port.
Aye, we've not got that aerial threat. You know, the guy can Mark Haley-esque. You know, that I would. People say these guys are dying in the game next year, but if you look at Liverpool and Man City in particular, they've went for the old school Darwin Núñez and Erling Haaland, who are your traditional big number nines. These guys seem to be making a comeback in the game. Because if you remember, you were getting guys like Luis Suarez who played that false nine and made this new forward thing fashionable, where they dropped deep and linked up play and got into the box late runs. But these big target men are making a comeback, mate, and I'm enjoying watching them, I must admit. And I think I would love to see one signed in the summer for us, because I think we need. I think Michael Beale touched on it in one of the interviews that I read, mate. We need some surgery in the team during pre-season, and he had said he had 5 players in mind, and I hope a Mark Haley-esque forward is in mind, because that's what I would like to see, because I think with the quality we've got when it comes to delivery from the wing at times and delivery from guys like Cartmel, Hadji and Tillman, a big target man that can score goals and get us at number 25, get to that 25 mark next year, which is a must. As long as I've been a Rangers fan, there's always been one that's done it. It's been a long time since one's done it next year, so I think it's a must that we get a striker who can guarantee that 25 at least a season.
Does that matter if he's 6'2" or 4'2", Jaffa? If he scores 25 goals?
Personally speaking, not for me, Ox. No, I'd happily take if Cholak gets his fitness levels back up and starts the season or ends the season the way he started it, because he had a great run of form and he was probably on target to hit those kind of numbers throughout the season. I mean, Cholak was banging them in for all over. But I do follow Port's train of thought, and I happen to agree that we should have that player in the squad. That centre man, that target man should definitely be there, because we are very vulnerable. Yeah, I think we don't score enough goals from the air, from that position in the box. You're really relying on either Golson or Big Hollander was quite decent at it when he was on form. For me, that's not enough, and I think sometimes we can be a wee bit easy to defend against, in particular for set pieces or the ball getting swung in. We're really relying on the second ball either hitting the deck or ricocheting off somebody, and then one of the creative guys picking the pieces up, rather than, as Port said, a Hateley, and even, we've always said, even before Hateley, we had other guys that we tried up there that were decent in the air. But Hateley certainly was the standout in that position. But you're right. There's a lot of those guys around. There's a lot. I mean, Lyndon Dykes does a decent job for QPR. Not at the moment. No, he was ill, wasn't he? But he certainly has that in his armoury. He likes the ball in the air, and he's good for he likes the ball to come to his head basically, and he'll challenge for it. And it's the disruption that causes. I think in particular, a lot of the teams that would play with a low block in this country, I think that kind of player would be beneficial to have in the team, and against games like tomorrow. But where we are, as you say, for me, if it's fashion tomorrow, Ox with the raw pace, or if he decides to go with Cholak, and if your information's right about Morelos, if he's not in the team tomorrow, then it'll be either Cholak or Sakala, won't it, through the middle?
I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying we've heard it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Right. Okay. Hi. Come and join.
Over yourself, Fox. Dear, can I ask you about Raskin? Does he start in your opinion, and why?
The big reason for me, if he starts, mate, I just want him to be fit so he can do self justice.
Yeah.
These games are important, and if he plays and he's not 100% fit and has a shocker, it can damage a Rangers career. And it's as bizarre as it sounds. One game, but I just want the boy, if he's fit, you want to give him the best chance to be the best version of himself, to coin a phrase they use in modern football. If he's 100% fit, I play him. I know that at this time of the season, that people aren't 100% fit. You'll have some kind of wee knock, get that. But I'm talking about decent muscles that have healed properly with the problems he's had. And he ain't played a lot of football in 6 months, mate. So match fitness, I don't know, mate. That's my concern.
Yeah. As you rightly said earlier on, it's building blocks. Cantwell and, in my opinion, and Raskin are building blocks with probably more an eye on next year. But it's great we've got them in January. But I think we'll see the best versions of Cantwell and Raskin. Got a full pre-season, like you said. He's not played since November. He's not played a lot of football since November. He was even put down to the B team by the manager and over in Liège. So I think you're right. But if he can get there tomorrow, and we're talking about goals, Oxford making differences in games. If Rangers go and press them Oxford, and it's the first 50-50 ball tackle wise, that can lift your team. That can lift. See, look, when I played, a good solid 50-50. I'll give you an example. Kevin Thompson on Robbie Keane, the megastar. That sort of thing just fires your whole team up, because then you go, right, he's getting stuck in, so let's go for it here. Let's get the sleeves rolled up, and let's blood and thunder. Because I don't think that they particularly like that sort of game next year. I think we have to get physical. That's why I'd like to see a big centre forward, that really goes and bashes them legally, obviously. But I just think there's other wee factors in the game, mate, that lifts teams, and especially when you're in the cauldron of that, place over there. I think things like that, it's usually tackles, win your duels, win your second balls. All of a sudden you're pressing them, you're not letting them pass out for the back, which you like to do. That thing gets into their head, mate. And then if you add a goal to that, like you said, it could be a completely different ball game, mate. Finally, somebody's left a glove on them. So psychologically, Oxford, I've said it during the week, I think it could be a massive factor if we beat them at Parkhead tomorrow, and then that semi-final, you finally put one in their chin, and then we move on to the semi-final, mate.
Right, well, one game at a time. Come back to the Rash thing. Jaffer, I just want to be fair to the boy. So, you know, if you ask a player, you know, a 21-year-old guy, are you fit? Are you want to play? What do you think the answer's going to be?
Oh, I know, Ox. That's why sometimes the decision's got to be taken, you know, with his hands. You're right. No, you're spot on.
I just want to be fair to the boy. That's all, man. I'm not saying no to play him. I just want it to be right for the boy.
Well, only guys that will know that, Ox. He may well have had 4 training sessions, but at what you know, what level has it been? Have they all been contact? You know, has he been in full? You know, has he been in actual, you know, training sessions, actually playing? You know, where they spar against each other, or whether they're playing, you know, the bibs are playing each other. Has he been actually at full tempo? And the only people that know that is behind the scenes, and that'll determine the level of fitness he's got. But I agree, he's been out for a number of weeks, so he's not, you know, he'll have, his match sharpness won't be where it should be. But maybe he's a bit like Cantwell, who came in and hit the ground running, and he had a base level of fitness. Certainly, Raskin certainly does look, when the games that I've saw him in, you know, he's high energy. So it could well be, you know, as a young fella, maybe he's just got huge levels of energy, and if he has, then that's the kind of guy we definitely need. Or, as I said, Ox, he comes on at 70 minutes, or he comes on at 65, or whatever he's got to play in the team, and we go with a different, you know, set up. It probably would resort back to Lundstrom then, and Jack, I would suspect, in that too. That's, of course, if he plays a 4-2-3-1, he might just go with a flat 4-3-3. You know, that's a possibility as well, but I suspect he'll go with a tried formation that he's been playing for a number of weeks now, or months, the 4-2-3-1. That seems to be his preferred setup.
That's one thing. It's in the last few weeks that, you know, obviously Scotty Arfield came on that famous night up at Pittodrie when we scored 2 goals in about 2 seconds. You know, but when we've made substitutions, there's not been a lot of positive impact. See, this year, this calendar year so far, with the piece, if I'm being honest, Jaffa.
Yeah, I'd agree, Ox. In fact, if anything, and I think we've actually spoke about this on the show a couple of times, the energy levels have absolutely fell off a cliff. Whereas you would expect, you know, when he's bringing on 3 or 4 guys at 65, 70 minutes, especially the other week when we're 2-0 up against Dundee United, and he brings 3 or 4, I can't remember exactly who all the subs were. Scott Wright was one of them, Arfield was one of them. You know, and we did have chances, but we're not. I mean, the opposition are you know, they're 2-0 down and there's 20 minutes left to go in the game, and we're bringing on 4 players that are man for man are far superior to anything they've got in their squad. Yet we can't seem to get through goal 3 and goal 4 and goal 5 and actually put some gloss on the performance. And I think that's the bit that I think frustrates a lot of us. So the subs have not, they've certainly not been performing, Ox, and they've not covered themselves in glory, that's for sure.
On tomorrow, Port, in all big games now, I think the game's changed. I think it is a 14, 15, 16-man game now, isn't it?
Oh, definitely, mate. That's exactly where the all over Europe. It's not just us, it's all over Europe. And most teams have that quality. You know, 16, 17, 18 players that are, you know, probably level par. Sometimes you look at the Man City team, you look at the Liverpool team, some of the players at times, and all the big teams, some of the players sitting on the bench, you're like, wow, you know, that player sitting on the bench. But we're getting to that stage, Oxford. We're getting players back, but it's just for some reason, which I can't work out. Like you touched on, these players, in my opinion, are fighting for their jersey, Oxford. They're fighting for their right to be at Ibrox, and so far, the ones that have been given opportunities to, you know, like Jaffa touched on, Dundee United, when to me it looked like a training session at times, they didn't come on and further make an impact and lift the team another 10, 20%, which being fresher, they should have done, and go and kill teams off, as Jaffa says, you know, and start putting a wee dent in this goal difference, etc. they come on next year and they just seem to fall into the exact same pattern as the teams currently playing at. The tempo stays the same.
Level's drop, mate. The energy level's drop instead of going up. Yeah.
It's strange, mate. It's so strange. I don't know why these guys on the, and maybe this is why Michael Beale's talking about he thought maybe some small surgery had to be made to the squad, but the last time that thing I read, mate, he said major surgery, in his opinion, is needed at Ibrox during the summer. So maybe that's the reason why, mate. Maybe the energy level's dropping and guys he wants to rely on, that he was there previously before and he knows their quality, but they're just not showing Michael Beale it. So he's probably looking at it and going, well, if you're not going to do it for me, and since I've been here, well, I'm not going to have you here. So I want players that want to be here, want to play for the club and play for that badge, mate.
If the team tomorrow is McGregor, Carver, Golson, Davis, Barisic, yeah?
Yeah.
Raskin, and Jack, Cantwell, Tillman, Kent, and Sakala or Cholak up front. Their team's evolved. Think about it.
Aye.
Think about it. That'll be Ben Davis, Raskin, Cantwell, Sakala, Cholak. More than half a team that is new players. Was that right? Half a team. Aye. Ben Davis, Raskin, Cantwell, Tillman, Cholak, or even Fashion Sakala, who, the team's evolving.
He's like a new signing, Ox. Yeah, you're right. He's like a new signing, Sakala, because
he's not been ways. He's ways after. What I mean is he's ways after 55. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Aye. So there's that. What does that tell you? That's guys that are there, in my opinion, that want to fight for their jersey and want to fight to keep the jersey on, fight to keep themselves in the team. That's why they're getting picked in the starting 11 next year. So I can understand. We know the quality of some of the guys on the bench that we've got, apart from the guy that always likes to dress nice and look nice. But there's guys in that team, and I'm going to use Glenn Kamara. I'm going to throw that out there. We know Glenn Kamara's ability next year, but when's the last time we've seen it?
When's the last time Glenn Kamara?
Hearts.
Eindhoven away, maybe.
Right.
Maybe.
Could you imagine next year the form that we saw Glenn Kamara in the early part, with the legs, running power we know he's got, alongside a Raskin?
I think the thing with Glenn is, if I'm being honest, and Jaffa, you can come in, is I don't think he's bounced back for all that controversy. I mean, he's had great moments, but he's never had the consistency again.
No, Ox, I think, again, I'm quite sure that's had a lasting effect on Glenn Kamara, because he's not been himself since all of that, Ox. He's the same Glenn Kamara hasn't he been around Rangers first team with that same, he really came onto a game. He looked $1 million. Physically, he looked really fit. He was up and down the park like a yo-yo. He was putting in 8 out of 10 performances week in, week out. That just hasn't happened, has it, for a long time? And I don't mean to cheese any Rangers fans off here in any way, shape or form, but I think it's probably come to a point. It's probably best if Glenn Kamara moves on. It's probably a new surroundings that he needs as much as, for himself, as well as we need as well, because he's not really contributing, and he hasn't really contributed this year, and probably the tail end of last season, hasn't he? In particular this year, I think Glenn looks a wee bit disinterested, if you don't mind me saying, Ox.
You can say what you want, mate.
Within reason.
Within reason. I don't think you're alone in these thoughts, Jaffa. I'm a big fan of Glenn Kamara when he plays, but I accept he's not kicked the ball much this season. Paul?
No, I totally agree, mate. And that's the thing that frustrates me, because we know he's quality. We know there were sort of figures when Nice were looking at him, allegedly, and that, a lot of teams in France seem to be interested in him. He obviously schooled at Arsenal under Arsene Wenger as well. So he had that, on the ball, he looks, elegant. He's got pace. He's got a lovely range of passing. He's quick. At times when Borna, Kent and Kamara were on that left side, some of the passing and triangles and movement after the three of them was outstanding to watch. And that's the frustrating part for me, because Glenn Kamara's still a young man in my eyes, Oxtear. And I thought about this the other night. Could you imagine if we had Glenn Kamara at that level in Raskin? The young, enthusiastic legs, the power, the pace. It would offer that another strength of our bow, mate. And we're not that I'm trying to diss Ryan Jack or Lundstrom, but the two of them are more mobile than the two guys. But I do believe Jack and Lundstrom serve a purpose in our team as well when we have to, dig in and defend and when the midfield's a battle. But I definitely think if Glenn Kamara was to get to the form we need him at, mate, what a string to blow, what a midfield decision Michael Beale would have in his hand.
I'm in the Jaffa camp. I think that ship might have sailed, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think maybe for his career, he needs a move. It's 100% the poll that Raskin starts tomorrow, Jaffa. 100%.
Wow.
Well, the Bears are not usually wrong, Ox. I mean, if that's how the majority of the fans are seeing it, and similar to how we feel on here, although I would quantify that by saying you're right. If the guy's fit, if Raskin's fit, then play him. Absolutely play him. I think he brings a better tempo to the game, to the team. He's got more energy levels. But if he's anywhere, no 80%, 70%, 85% fit, I wouldn't play him. Because that's going to that could, as you say, that could really turn on the lad.
You see what we've done there? We had a poll there, Jaffa. We gave everybody the information and didn't try to hide any facts before we had the poll. That's unusual in Scotland, probably, isn't it?
You didn't better than your back here, did you?
No. Shh. I told you something about that. Oh, I don't know what they did with all that money. It's disappeared. Right, okay.
Do you think it's due to his forward thinking and the fact he plays with his heads up a lot, Oxtear, and he's never really, we're always criticised, aren't we, for midfielders going side to side or putting the ball back. But if you watch the wee man, there's times when I've watched the wee fella, and just sort of
what are you talking about?
Raskin, sorry.
Sorry.
When you watch him and he's always demanding the ball, he's going asking and taking it off the centre halves. His head's always up. He's always looking round before he receives the ball. Do you think that's the reason that the Bears want him in the team, because he's more forward thinking, although he has got that ability to make tackles, break up play? He's like an all round midfielder. Is that fair?
Not for me. Yeah, I don't think we've seen enough of him to judge, if I'm being honest. I think most people want him in the team because he's fresh and he's not got the scars and he's not let us down at the moment. I think it's as simple as that, if I'm being honest, Jaffa.
Yeah, he's not. I mean, he certainly. I think he looks a better technical player than what we currently have there, which is, I think, probably why we've signed him and spent whatever we've spent on him.
He's that right fitted, mate. He's got to run in circles to kick it, mate, at times.
Aye, that's probably his hang up. He is all one sided, but his energy levels, Ox, for me, and he's got good vision. He's got his positional strength sense is really good as well. I've noticed that about him, and he's just his tempo, his all round game, and his tempo, and the willingness to get up to the opposition box and the drive is, I think, something that we just don't have in that middle of the park area now. We don't have enough of it. And we used to traditionally have always had 2 or 3 guys that could drive on for the middle of the park and were forward thinking. I know we certainly can't. I know we've got Cantwell. I know we've got Tillman. Tillman's got the craft. He sees it all. He sees all the gaps. He sees all the spaces. He's got everything. But in Raskin, you need that drive from behind you to push the ball forward, don't you?
I think we should always have guys in your team that know about the craft, if I'm being honest. Just a personal thing. Anyway, right. Are you shocked at that? 100%? 100% port before we go to the tune. I've got a wee shout out to do.
Aye, I'm 100%, mate, yep.
Oh, you're
Definitely.
surprised? The poll's 100%.
Oh, sorry, no, not because of what I just explained. I just think the legs, the running power, the youthful exuberance, the adrenaline he'll be absolutely buzzing. You know, he's played in derby games in Belgium before as well, so I think that's why he's been picked alongside, whether it be Ryan Jack or John Lundstrom, mate. I think that's why he's been picked. Just the fact he's youthful exuberance and his quality brings. That's why he starts. So I'm not surprised one bit.
All right. Before we go to the show, we want to give a wee shout out to Old School Blue. It's would have been his old man Huey. Would have been his 70th birthday today. And I thought Huey, being the blue nose that he was, and passing it on to our Old School Blue, it might not be in a Rangers radio. So we're all indebted to our Huey, the one and only Huey. Would have been 70 today. He must be all his friends and family. Let's have a tune.
Every Saturday we follow, we cheer the boys in blue, the most successful team in football. We're Scotland's gallant few, though at times they have been hard. We've followed near and far. You will always hear us roaring from the stands in Ibrox Park.
Successful team in football, well, Scotland's gallant few, well, times they have been hard, we'll follow near and far. You will always hear us roaring from the stands at Ibrox Park.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
All right. We're both back, gentlemen.
Oh, Blackhawks.
Yes, yes. Is it a testament to the back four that there's nobody's wanting it changed, or it's just that we've Redvan and Suter only match fit yet? Is that what's your rationale, quickly, Jaffa?
But a bit of both there, Ox. I mean, Redvan certainly no. He's not done anything wrong, Ox. He's just not been fit enough. I like the look of him, but the season's probably running away from him at this moment in time. It's hard to get born out of the team though when he's got he can put the ball into the box in such a dangerous area. And in the case of Tavox, I mean, he has, you get what you get with James Tavernier. You just can't argue. You can't take away the attacking impact that he has in his game. And the forward line as a right back, it's mental. The numbers the guy's got, and I just don't think you can take that out of your team if you're sitting in the dressing room and if you're the manager.
All right, okay. Thoughts, Port?
I just think it's been unfortunate for Redvan in a couple of reasons. One, the injury, and two, it just seems to be, being a Turkish international, he's come in, Borner's all of a sudden have had to look over his shoulder, where it's maybe a wee bit of complacency was stepping into Borner's, sort of game mate, because he was guaranteed to be in the team every week. The times when we've spoken about the quality, his touch, Redvan, I know we're all excited about him, mate. I think we have got a player with hands here, just a young man, new culture, came to a new country, and I think, again, he'll be a new signing in January, mate. But again, one of the building blocks for Michael Beale next season, and I think he'll push Borner, and Borner will push him, mate. So I'm excited about the young man Redvan, definitely. In Tavernier's numbers,
he shouldn't struggle for a barber, should he, Jeff?
There's 4 in every high street, guaranteed.
4. Talking about people are struggling. Let's hear Southside's Super 6.
Hi, welcome to Southside Super 6 for Saturday the 8th of April. My first selection is Aston Villa to beat Nottingham Forest. My second selection is Manchester City to win away at Southampton. My third selection is Aberdeen to beat Kilmarnock. My fourth selection is Airdrie to beat Montrose. My fifth selection is Hearts to beat St Mirren. And my sixth selection is Newcastle to beat Brentford away from home. If you take all 6 selections, it pays 22.5 to 1.
Fingers crossed this week, Jaffa. Fingers crossed.
Another tenner donation.
I'm looking forward to Southside Super 6 on Saturday the 7th of September. It's going to be it's a tongue twister. Right, okay, good luck, big man. Another donation. But we'll see what it takes us.
You never know, Ox. I mean, it was a tenner getting you 225 knicker. Wouldn't it be a bad lift for a Saturday? That and a Rangers win would be a good start, wouldn't it?
I would gladly, and so would Southside. We'll donate the 220 quid if the Rangers win.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely.
But aye. We'll just get some callers coming in now. Just give us a second to be right with us. You nervous, Port?
Do you know, Oxford, see with the form? No, I'm not. I'm not, and because of the form as well in the last 2 games against them, I don't think this big gap that was spoke about at the start of the season, we're miles after them, they've got our number, etc. I heard all this, I heard a lot of negativity on your show, seen it on social media, and Oxford, I'm not. I've got full faith in Michael Beale.
Anyway, we've been joined by George Logan. Evening, George.
How you doing, boys? All right?
Evening, George.
I'm talking about you last night. I don't know if you heard it, but George Logan Cup fight.
Who was that? Sorry, Ox?
We were talking about you last night, the George Logan Cup final.
Oh, the George Logan Cup final. Aye, that'll never be forgotten, Ox. That's aye. I know I thought I'd go to that game and come back and it'd be such a thing as the George Logan Cup final. But that's sort of fair and around about wee way I was going to talk about really. I mean, I was going to give my team because the last time I came on before the last time we played them, I said we had to get Raskin, Cantwell and what's the lady's name? Three boy I've got them once, so he keeps on slipping my mind. Tillman. We had to get the FD in the team, and a lot of folk were saying it's not possible. And I just thought we've got to. I think we're at a rebuild, Ox. I think there's no point in waiting until the end of the season to start this rebuild. I honestly think if we can get Cantwell in a permanent deal, Tillman on a permanent deal, we've got Cantwell and we've got Raskin. I think that's the start of us building a new team, Ox. And I think you just said that just to be well there. So I didn't see how we couldn't get them in the team. So I'll still go with that tomorrow again, Ox. I think we've got the same back four as we'd always be. I would say Jack and Raskin. I would say, now that's a tricky bit for me. I would say Jack and Raskin. I would say Kent on the left. With the Sakala through the middle or Sakala on the right. We have a false nine. I would date it that way. But I think that you've got to build your team around there, guys. I think you're starting to now. Oxford building a new team to build around about these guys. I think you mentioned earlier as well, Big Davies in midfield and defence. And I said that defence has done well for us as well. So that's half the team you mentioned. I can't have everybody's opinion on Alan McGregor, but me personally, I think until you get a better keeper, he should be number one. So that would be my team going into the Mora, Ox. And if you're looking forward to the start of the next season as well, you need the replacements for some guys as well. Of course you do, but that's. I think the rebuild starts tomorrow. Starts now.
I think it started in January when they brought the 2 players in, and obviously Summit's been hindered with the injuries to Ben Davis at times, Tom Lawrence and Ridvan, so I get where George is coming from. Jaffa.
Hi, George. I'm the same, George. That was my kind of, whatever way you play that front four, whether it's he does it on rotation and he sticks Kent through in the middle, which it was. We can't well out right, or he plays Sakala out left, or he plays Sakala through the middle. I think you've got to get. I think what you're saying, George, is essentially the same as what I was echoing, and I think Ox and Port as well. Was basically we've got to get those guys on the park, provided they're all fit. Raskin included in that, because they're the creators, aren't they? And you could say, well, is it better playing with a more defensive 3 because we're away from home, rather than going out attack? But he said in the presser earlier on, he's putting a team out to try and win the game. So I suspect that's going to be roughly the team. There might be one change different from that, but I think that's going to be the 11, George.
I think that'd be a cracking team if we can get that team. I really do. I'll speak about bringing in other guys in the summer and of course January as well. I think it's like a complete rebuild. Starting with the guys who go in that midfield, and the guys who just didn't deserve to be at the club. It's as simple as that. So like Hawk just said daily now, for players to be changed or 4 players to be changed to the last. That's sort of starting like putting your confidence in this issue going forward. And people, of course, I don't think they're winning. Of course, we want to win it all the time. Maybe they want to be a loser, but I think Mike, you look at the results since he came in, has been absolutely brilliant. We would have done better. Going ahead to the next season, I think you've got to take a bit of confidence to that. I hope these guys can do that more for us as a wee result.
I agree with your forward thinking, George. I really do. It's very attack minded, and if they're all interchanging and interlinking with each other, I think the movement would be incredible. But it's just I think we still need a focal point, mate, whether it be a Cholak or Sakala through the middle. But that's not to say that they can still, switch, etc. And change. But I'm like you, I mentioned it earlier on, mate, about building blocks, and Raskin and Cantwell are part of that. That's Michael Beale's first two signings. We're led to believe he spoke to these guys face to face and was, looked in their eye and see if the eye of the tiger, if you like. And that's sort of attitude we need them more, in my opinion. We need to go at them and really, like he says, and to coin one of his phrases, meet them on the halfway line and get stuck right in. Pressure them at every moment we can. When your first and second duels, aerial battles, wherever it is, mate, we just have to leave a glove and put a dent in this confidence that's grown and grown because they're dominating, especially at Parkhead, mate. But we have to put an end to this. It has to be the Mora. And I swear, Oxgear, Jaffa, and George, watch the psychological twist. If we do this, all of a sudden they'll be punished at their home ground.
Jaffa, just quickly before we bring George back in, they didn't dominate for the first time since 2012. The money coming from UEFA, did they?
No, they didn't. No, I seen that. Ox the payments were the figures were actually released by UEFA. What was it, 18.1 million? I think we got against their 9 million. So and that incidentally, that was with their bounty payment in their Ox.
Yes.
So we'll see that getting removed next year, won't we?
Start switching next year, yeah.
But as you say, I mean, you would just stick that under the ground, wouldn't you, in the back gear and just bury it.
Seems to be the popular thing to do at the moment. Anyway, talking about popular, it's a bookie's friend to our south side. How we doing, south side?
Aye, good, buddy. How are you? How's the troops? All right?
All right.
How you doing, south side?
Aye.
Yeah.
How's eyes? I've just seen he's not doing too well now. You been watching this? Aye. I've just come in. I thought I better check him out, and he's not doing too well now. But here you go. Not to worry. Anyway, what's the matter?
Your friends did a wee bit better than you.
As he, aye. Ach, well, we'll see. Still another 26. Aye.
What's on your mind, Biggin? What's on your mind?
Nah, positivity for tomorrow. Oh, we're in a good run of form as in away for him. We've picked up the victories. He's turned this squad round. And I think the best bit of news I heard today is Raskin's fit, he says. So for me, Raskin starts. No, you get him right in the middle of the park. Port, did you say earlier, did you have Cantwell at your team?
I just couldn't decide between Tillman or Cantwell who plays in that number 10 role, mate. That was my. I couldn't decide. It was like a flip of a coin, because I think one of the two, whoever plays that number 10, mate, has to sit on McGregor and stop him playing. It's who stops that.
I just think all week we've thought about that, but see, really, we should be imposing ourselves on them, Port. No, it should be what we're doing. And I know we've got to look at it, and we did discuss it when we were on, didn't we? We said McGregor and whoever, the two that sort of push on, and you can shut that down. But I'm looking for us to go out tomorrow and start right in the front foot, and just get right about them, because see, let's be honest, our goalkeeper's rotten, Starfelt's rotten, their left back isn't that great. I'd say they're probably right back showed up no bad since they signed them. But see, apart from that, their defence is rotten, and it's about us getting into the dangerous positions, getting these players on the ball and have no fear. And I hope with Ben Davies, Raskin, Cantwell, Tillman and Sakala, we've got the players right there, and then it can hurt them in good positions. And I think it's just go up there and just get stuck right in about them and attack them. Because, I mean, teams that went up there and played them on a 4-3-3, Bodo Glimt went up there and beat them Leipzig went up and beat them when we were playing a 4-3-3. I don't think we play a 4-2-3-1. I think we play the diamond. I think that's what he's been playing. If you look at it at times when they're taking by kicks at Ibrox and you see the way we shape up, we have been playing right, left and Kent right in the middle at the tip of the head of a diamond in the middle. He's not really been playing on the left.
George, can you come?
I think the more is a day for these guys to stand up, Ox. I mean, Ken, there's a lot of words you can say about a Rangers player, legend. You can say greats or even cult heroes and that, Ox. Anybody that's played with Rangers would want to become away and say, that's what I'm at Rangers. Nobody wants to be a loser, Ox. Ken, nobody wants to be a loser. And if they're quite happy, then that's when they need to find another club. And I think if the team that they were all sort of thinking round about the same guys, should have that winning mentality, because we've been winning games. We've not been playing great football. Let's be honest about it. We've not been playing great football sometimes, but sometimes we've been seeing that wee edge where it's just coming as though we've got to play good football. I think we've got the potential to have a right good game in the morning, Ox. I think we can beat them in the morning. I just hope the guys think the same as what we do and get out of their mind that we can't beat them, because we can beat them, Ox. And like Southside said there now, I think you've got to focus on their weaknesses. You can say they've got a good goal scorer and things, but let's focus on their weaknesses. Big Starfelt at the back. I think if we've got somebody running at him, he's got to be a bag of nerves. And they mentioned it there a minute ago as well, the goalkeeper. If Starfelt plays balls back to the goalkeeper, get right down on top of him, Ox. Give him absolute, the old no surrender attitude, just right in about him all the time. Force the mistakes, make them make mistakes, because they've got mistakes in them, and we've just got to capitalise on them.
You hear me?
Hurrah! Hurrah! We are the Billy Boys. Hurrah! Hurrah! We make a lot of noise. We're up to here and never fear. We all are Billy sons. We are the Glasgow Billy Boys.
Hello.
Oh, Fox is so building himself up. He'll not sleep tonight, George. He'll not sleep tonight. He'll not sleep tonight. Aye. Listen, you have to get there and give everything you got. The game's no change. Southside, the game's no change. You get there with the right attitude. You do your job. Get on top of your opponent, and the game becomes easier.
Aye. Listen, you get the Andy Halliday tackle he done at Ibrox. One of them in the first couple of minutes lets them know that we're here, we're up for the battle. But listen, they put a Rangers jersey on, they should be up for the battle anyway, and I don't want to hear any more excuses come back for our captain. We've got a new manager, we're in a positive position, and we're playing well, and that's what we should focus on. Aye, they've not lost many games and they do what they do, but it's what we do good, and it's about just going up there and hopefully everybody turns up on the day and plays well. Sometimes you have to carry a player now and again, but hopefully we don't need to. We get 11 people to do what they do, the basics, shut their goalkeeper down when they're passing it back. I think we need a striker that's going to run and chase a goalkeeper down, and if you're playing Alfie, I don't think you're going to get that. But apart from that, we just need to make sure we win every battle that you're up against. And if we do that, we should come away with a win, because that way we'll play, we'll make chances, and it's about taking the chances at the right time. And hopefully we'll do that, and it'd be a good change for us to go up there and rattle 2 in the first half, and that just settle us right down, and that's what I'd be looking for. Get right in their faces for the start, and just give them no space at all. Just run your heart out for that 90 minutes in that jersey. That's all we ask for, innit, Ox?
We don't ask for a lot, Jaffa, do we?
No, we don't. But see, on that same point about what Southside's saying there, we actually putting pace on them in the high press with Sakala and Kent. If they do that, Joe Hart literally makes a mistake every game against any team in our league and in Europe with any team that does that to them, because he can't play football, the guy. And secondly, Ox, you know what we've never done against them with the pace that Sakala's got and Kent's got and the turn that they've both got on them. We don't sit on Carter Vickers. I mean, Carter Vickers is like a Clydesdale horse. He can't move. Yet we don't sit a centre forward. We've never sat a centre forward on him and encouraged him, because he'll foul all day long. That's all he does. He can't help himself. He's too big not to foul. He just lies on top of you. And
he might foul, but the referee's got to blow the whistle, Jaffa.
Well, that's another problem, Ox. That's a different conversation, as we well know. We've got Reverend Clancy in Charles tomorrow with a whistle. So, you know,
What
their
about
hand.
what about the Reverend Father Kelly's stat the other night? He's refereed 3 games and we've won the 3 of them, Mr. Clancy.
Is that right?
It's a fact, mate.
Brilliant. Good. Bring it on now. Well, maybe he's our Mason in disguise.
You know, I shocked me, by the way. I must admit, I was shocked at that one.
Maybe his father was Billy Clancy.
I know it was a cracker the other night, mate. I've got to admit. I'm one of the ones that always publicly criticises that man. And not just for our games, actually. I've actually watched other games where I've seen him having absolute clangers. You know, very, 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 very poor refereeing decisions. But let's be honest, mate. See tomorrow with the profile of this game, see a good referee, good referees on the scene, mate. So the game, the spectacle should be managed with the ref perfectly and let the game flow when it has to flow. If there's anything dodgy, deal with it.
All right, mate. George, did that stat surprise you?
I was very surprised at that, Ox. I heard them saying that the other night. I was very surprised at that. But does that just tell us that he's maybe just a poor referee, Ox? Ken, because we've all got our opinions on him, and I think the guy is just a poor referee. And I think the refereeing in Scotland is pretty poor anyway. I mean, the VAR's just an absolute joke and things like that, Ox. So I hope it doesn't come down to nothing like that the more, Ox. I think what Southside was saying there, I think it was, we need to come out of traps, win our own battles, win everything, leave nothing on the park. Andy Harold, the attitude, that's a good one. Go out there and put your authority down in the game quite early on, but play clever, Ox. We've got to be very clever the more we're playing against them as well. I like the one years ago, I always remember when Christian Daly, an old favourite of mine, Christian Daly came out and done it within 2 minutes and just set the tone for the game, and that's where the game has got to go. Let's try everything that's never been tried with them before, Ox, because they're jumping a bit like they're on the fair of yacht, and either playing some good football, Ox, but they've not really, we've not tested them, we've not been good enough to test them, so let's go there and test them tomorrow.
Here. So, you made some points about, closing them down and that and getting their defence rattled. I mean, we should have won the game at Ibrox, let's be honest. We had the game there, and if I'm being honest, I think my substitutes took over for tempo at the game and we sort of fell out a bit.
Aye.
Yeah, but in the semi-final, when we got back to 2-1, we should have only scored again,
Aye, it's all ifs and buts, and we could have, a game at Ibrox, we should have seen it out, but that's been the same when Michael Beale was there under Steven Gerrard in games. We were struggling to see games out. We lost a lot of late goals in games, even in Europe, because we didn't have game management. For some reason we just didn't work out how to do it, and it's pretty easy. Put balls in corners, take throw-ins, slow the game down, kick it after them, put it out for our throw-in, but for some reason we'd give the ball away and then we just lose goals. So, but at Ibrox we had them and we just didn't defend well. Subs did make a difference and we could see the catalogue of errors, but we know what they're going to go. They've been renowned for it early years. They'll go until the end of the game. You know what it's like. So it's down to us to make sure that when you're ahead that you don't lose a goal. But cup game, it's the same. Didn't turn up in the first half at Ibrox. Didn't turn up at Hampden. It's time we turned up, and if we turn up, we should win. So I just hope that even at by kicks or and stuff like that, when they try to walk it out, I would press them with 4 or 5. I would press them so they can't pass out. Make them go long if they have to, and if they want to try and pass out us, then let them try it. And if they get through us, then I will need to get back. But if they don't, we're getting the ball after them. Just take it after them up high up the park. We know the ball boys work wonders when they fling the ball and they'll be doing that, so we need to be switched on. But there will be times in the game where we can press them in that game and shut them down and see if they want to try and pass through us, and let them see if they want to take that chance. And hopefully we'll be good enough to get the ball and do the damage, mate.
So you're saying to me we played for about 20 minutes in the cup final and about half an hour in the game at Ibrox? Is that what you're saying to me?
Well, we didn't turn up in the first half at Ibrox, did we, really?
I'm getting you that.
We didn't turn up. for long spells in the cup final with players. And let's be honest, I don't see them every week in, week out, but they have not been great week in, week out. They're still winning, right? We've not been great week in, week out. We're still winning, but we know we've
turned up for 50 minutes and scored 3 goals against them.
Aye, you could look at it that way, aye.
Anyway, we've been joined by Mikhailichenko. Guess who? Bobby. How are we doing, Bobby?
Not bad, mate. I just phoned up to say velocity calls, and I think we could have a wee change in the team and more, but I don't know who to put in where the boy had Tati out, right? I think that's an ideal game now for Raskin. Definitely Raskin to run at them. So there's a wee change in the team there, but I still think VR's going to come into this game, and we're going to be talking about this on Monday. They're going to get a decision to VR, and that frightens me.
Did you want the last one of the Super 6, Bobby?
Yeah.
Right. Southside, what was the last one of your Super 6?
Newcastle.
No, I've got Newcastle, mate. I've got Aston Villa, Man City, Newcastle, Aberdeen, Airdrie.
Hearts to beat
Hearts.
Right. That's good.
Shanklin for a brace.
There's thousands of people doing this every week now. Do you not feel bad, Southside?
Listen, don't start, right? I'm as disappointed as everybody else here. My reputation's getting scudded all over the place here, right?
Yes, Bobby phoned up because he missed one out. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
It's going to become that.
George, you had Raskin in your team. Southside had Raskin in his team even before he thought he was fit. Has their team changed with our team for you, George? Or?
I had Raskin in my team the last time. I actually said the last game, I don't know how I'd do it, so I would have Raskin, Tillman and Cantwell in the team. I wasn't sure how I'd do it, but I sort of got a reformation how I actually do it now. And that's probably my way of thinking is probably, well, this is going to be our team going ahead. Our 3 guys are going to, if we get Tillman signed up, this has got to be our team going ahead. So let's go for it. And like Southside was saying, Ken, leave nothing on the park. Just go for every ball, try and win every ball, and let's try and get them turning against ourselves, because we've never done that. It was half an hour here and 20 minutes here, and we played good football and should have probably got made out of the games, and we did get out of the game. So as a wee way of putting a stamp down the more as well, because either 9 points ahead is and crazy amount of goal difference. But let's just see if we get the win the Morocco. Let's just see how they might come out next week and absolutely scud somebody, and that could be the thing. But let's just see how they react if we do get a win near the Monarchs, because I don't think they've been in that position before.
Have comment, Jaffa?
Yeah, I mean, Ox, it's just for me, it's like a lot of these games, it's down to attitude, isn't it? Our attitude's got to be absolutely right. The tempo's got to be right. And the players have got to have that will to win. And if they do that, and the 11 players are all together, the 11 start 11, and then I think we've got a great chance, because I think man for man, we match up to them. And in most positions, we've got better technical players. Tillman, for me, and Cantwell, we've got to get them in the team together tomorrow. They're for me are the 2 guys that are going to unlock their defence. Sakala's pace and Kent's pace. And getting those guys on the park for me, I think, is the key moment for us. Worry more about what we're doing than what they're doing.
I agree. I think it's all about tomorrow. It's all about tempo, and everybody and their granny's got it written as off. All the press, everybody, absolutely everybody, think this is a foregone conclusion. And if it was me and I was a captain of the team, or I was a manager tomorrow.
How old's your granny, Portbear?
She's not here anywhere, mate. She's gone, but you know what I'm talking about. But you get what I mean? Aye, you asking the fox, are you?
I think Jaffer
But see, I would use every trick in the book, mate, to fire our team up. Not that they should be needing fired up for a derby match, Oxtear, but I'd be using everything. Listen what these people are saying to you. It's a foregone conclusion, 12 points clear, league finished. Let's go and get stuck in and show them and run over the top of them. Because Oxtear, we're not too far away from this mob, and we're due to give them one at Parkhead. We're due to give them a good one at Parkhead, actually. And tomorrow, in my opinion, is going to be that day.
I think
Jaffa.
I was just going to say, I think the Union Bears want to give them one tomorrow as well.
Aye. Who's the big players tomorrow, Bobby?
Eh?
Who's the big players for us tomorrow?
Well, what I phoned up to find out he's 6, but now I'm swaying now of this to say maybe we had Tatty out, because we know he runs it is right. There maybe is a place for Tillman now, and take Cole out and put him just by the two, Sakala and Kent, and just let's see what we can get off him. Now, it sounds a good idea now to maybe put Tillman in the team to run at them instead of them running us. It sounds a good idea to get Tillman up forward.
What position are you playing Tillman if you play him tomorrow then, Bobby?
I'm just playing him behind the wingers to sweep up the boys. Okay, but we're probably not going to have anybody in the box, but really if we've got Kolak and Morelos in the box against that mob, we're not going to do much anyway. So it might be a good shout to get Tillman in there now. Now, I'm swaying to that. Get my midfield would be Jack, Raskin and Cantwell, and they can push up, put them under pressure. And remember the wee guy Tillman running about just behind Kent and that could put him under pressure. That's what I'm thinking. So I'll take Cole out of the team and put Tillman in.
All right. So you're going with your centre forward?
Yeah, because that's got against. Oh, but if you want to be honest, we've done without a centre forward. Really. We played the UEFA Cup final. We didn't have a centre forward. But a Rebo. Maybe Tillman can do that.
That's a point of view. Southside.
Aye. HR for you, Bobby.
All right.
I'd play Tillman in the 10. My team was, I took Kent out it, right? And I played Raskin, Jack and Cantwell. I played Tillman in front of them, and I wanted Sakala and Kolak up front. Now, you just said Kolak doesn't score, right? Look at the goals he's scored. He'll run about all day, he'll chase down, he'll harry, he'll try his heart out for you. Put Alfie up there, he'll know do half the work that he's going to do for you. And we need players that are going to go and shut down, running spaces in behind them. If your midfield get the ball, we want them running in behind. Don't want to pass a ball up to Alfie with his back to go. Hey, Carter Vickers coming in the back of him. No, you want to get them turning. You want to split their defence. So we need boys through. Sakala one side and Kolak. That's what I had it. A lot of people might want to put Kent in and take Kolak out, whatever you want to do. I've heard that. But that was my team. I thought we needed something different. And if you get Tillman on the ball, running at them, he can put boys through and he can just walk by a man, get him in dangerous positions. He can be dangerous, and that was my team.
All right, Jaffa.
I wouldn't disagree with that formation, to be honest with you. But I mean, essentially, as long as the creative guys are on the park, and with a combination with that and pace, I mean, I think essentially we're all picking, give or take a player or so, the same kind of team. It's just how he sets it up, isn't it? It depends what the attitude is, Ox. If it's all go out and as Southside said, we can bang in 2 goals in the first half, happy days. It takes, as we said at the start of the show, scoring goals takes pressure off you, and it heaps pressure onto the opposition. So we've not done that for a long time at Parkhead. Went 1 up, made them think about it, went even 2 up, made them can start to get concerned and start making mistakes. But I think
I want to get too caught up in Southside's predictions for obvious reasons. Carry on.
I think essentially, as long as we've got the creative guys on the park, if Tillman's back to fitness, get him on the park. Cantwell, I really like the look of Cantwell. He's got a bit of craft about him. He's got good energy. Get something down the park. Raskin, if he's fit, as we said at the start of the show, get him played. Get him in beside Jack. And if they go a flat 4-3-3 or they go a 4-2-3-1, depends how he sets up. Or this diamond, as Southside said, and I've seen the stats and the evidence to say that's kind of essentially what they have been doing recently. I like the fluidity of the front line changing. I'm not really that hung up about where they are in the park. Essentially, without only Tillman being in the number 10 position, I'm not that bothered whether Sakala's out left or he's through the middle, or whether Kent's out left or he's through the middle. I'm not bothered about that. They can move about all day long as far as I'm concerned. But we've got to put pressure on them. They've got mistakes. Their back line is littered with mistakes, from Greg Taylor to Joe Hart to Carter Vickers to even the big Clydesdale horse. They make mistakes left, right and centre. And provided we can capitalise on their mistakes and we've got guys that can do it, then I think we can get some out of the game tomorrow. I really do. I think we can win it. That's my...
I'll remember, I'll try. It was nearly July as we walked down the road. I remember the year. There was me, there was Sam, Jimmy Sloan, and McCann would enlist in the volunteers. And the man says to me, boy, I hope you will see and remember this day all the things you've been taught. You could be now and then. We will fight once again for the things that our grandfathers fought. And I swore like the rest, to the badge on my breast, to the gun in my hands, I will fight for my land. With my hands held high, I took that vow when I joined number 1 platoon.
We have a different kind of game coming up tomorrow, Georgia.
Aye, we really try to get us going tonight, eh? Aye, but what you're saying to the new Ox, that's the kind of team I would go with, but I can't decide how I would do the front three.
I tell you the problem we've got, George. The problem we've got is Tillman and Cantwell, we both want them in the team, and everybody wants them to play point of the diamond, number 10, front of the midfield, whatever you like, and then we'll get a problem on the right side. We always seem to come back to that same problem, mate, right side. Because if you play Cantwell in front of Jack and Raskin, you put Tillman on the right side, you're not being fair to the boy.
Well, see, I don't know if I would go the different way for that, Ox. I would probably go, like I said, with the back four, and I would probably go with Jack and Raskin, and I would go with Kent on the left. But it's the next three, it's the difference for me. I would either go with Cantwell on the right, Tillman as the number 10, and then Sakala up front, or I'd change it a bit around about that, and I would go with Sakala on the right, and I would go with Raskin just in front of the middle two, with Tillman playing as a number 10. I've just got a funny feeling that might be away, because Tillman has played as a number 10, but as in like a number 9, if you know what I mean, Ox, in that position, sort of like a false 9, that sort of thing. I think that's how I would think I would maybe go with the more, because that's giving you a stronger spine of the team. And on the right, you've got Sakala coming in with his pace against Big Starfield. So that's probably the way I would maybe want to go. Ox, I don't know if the manager will go that way, but that's probably the way I would go with it.
If you play Sakala on the right, I don't think you get Cantwell and Tillman in the team, if I'm being honest, Porter. Jaffa?
I think, no, I'd agree with you with that, Ox. I think it throws the balance of the team out when Sakala goes out to the right. I think Sakala's best position's on the left wing, coming inside. I think that's where he's more effective.
Don't disagree with that.
Or sitting on an inside left position. I've on a more forward thinking. But definitely on the left hand side is a wee man's best position. That's where he's most creative. And I happen to think it takes a bit of pressure off Ryan Kent now, because they're expecting Kent to be at left all the time. And if Kent drifts into the middle, which I don't think that's a bad thing, I think they kind of lose Kent. And again, Kent can be highly dangerous as well. And Tillman in that number 10 role, because that's where Tillman's best position is, and that's where I think we've all seen the best of him. By the way, going back to Winnie Southside's point about Big Cholak up front, don't have a problem with that. Big Cholak's great at orchestrating the press. I've seen him doing it in numerous games. He's effective at it. When he gets 2 or 3 players to run with him at the same time, he's really good at it. And I think that's what's needed tomorrow. I think getting that press right is really critical to the game plan. And provided Kent and Sakala, and if it is Cholak that's on, I've not got a big problem with that. If he goes with the centre forward, the traditional centre forward, I just happen to think he might play it something a wee bit different tomorrow, and he might change it up at 60 minutes. It's good to have those options on the bench, Ox.
Does that make sense? What I've said Southside about my problem trying to get them in. I'm not saying I wouldn't play them, but there's certain players that give you a problem if you play, because if you shoehorn Tillman into the right of midfield, we're not being fair to the boy, are we?
No, I know. I still think we can have Cantwell and Tillman in the team. I think then Kent really would have to sort of move left, and I think he does his better work left. And as I've said on 10 times on here, I think Sakala does his best work on the left as well. So it means you're going to you'd put Cantwell there to the right, is what he would probably do in the midfield, and hope that he could go down there with Tav. Jack would maybe sit in, and Raskin would be on the other side, because we're going to set up with a 3 across the midfield. It's not going to be that. I don't think it's that 4-2-3-1 that we talk about. I know we can adjust it a bit to suit ourselves, but I'd like to think, Ox, that we've been up here, we've been players, we've had Kent for long enough, we've had Alfie in the team for long enough, we've had other players the same, and they've just not been getting the results. I think we need to try something different. We've got the players to do it. We're in a good bit of form. He can work a system out, and I just hope he gets it right. And if we get it right, it could be a right good day for us tomorrow. That's all that matters at the end of the day, Ox, is a Rangers win for everyone is. But it's just good that we can debate a wee bit about our forward 6. That's a good thing now, whereas before it was pretty rigid that we were Kamara, Lundstrom and Jack, wasn't it? Or whatever,
They creative players.
Aye, nothing there to go busting forward and create for you, is it?
That was for you, Bobby, especially for you.
Brilliant. I've had them one all day anyway, mate, so it doesn't matter.
Have you moved digs yet? Have you moved digs?
No, next week, next week, all the furniture and that gets moved there, so next week. But I'll watch the game up in the East End tomorrow on Southside 6. That'll give me my night out. You know what I mean? So I'll be well on.
Oh dear. You back with us, Port? No,
Aye, mate. Aye. Yeah.
All right.
No, I was just looking, mate. In the last 5 games, both teams have scored 16. Rangers have conceded 2, and they've conceded 3. So, even in goal threat, we've been pretty even, and defensive, they've been pretty even.
Listen, there
And
was a,
like you touched on, sorry mate.
Round about that Champions League thing when a lot of things happened, injuries, confidence, and that. That's when the damage was done for us, Georgia. If we're being honest, you know, we've been fighting a rearguard battle since, yeah.
Aye, Ox, I keep on saying it, and I ken people, you want to win every single time if Ox, of course you can. But I keep on saying it, and it's not an excuse, Ox. See the injuries and that we've had this year, Ox. That's been a battle on its own for us. So we're in a position now, like we're all saying there, that we're in a position now to bring in a right decent front six and have a decent bench as well, Ox. And that's me leaving big Kolak out, who I think's deadly when he gets to the bottom. But I just think we've tried that once, Ox, and that's why they're trying to do something different. And it's good we're in the position to actually change it around a wee bit. And here I'm starting to think about, like, because I think if the guys we've picked here, Ox, I would like to think they want to be their club and they want to fight for it. And you said earlier on, Ox, about, I'm going on about Sakala and I'm going on about Tillman and Raskin and guys like that. I think the most important player of the moment could be Ryan Jack. I think if Ryan Jack takes a game like we know he can, I think he could be the winner in the middle of the park for us, like, and that would set us right up for a good game.
Southside, what do you make of that? You've got the Matthews Cup final, Loudrop Cup final, and on here we've got the George Logan Cup final.
I thought you said earlier on Christian Daly was one of his favourites. George.
Southside, one of the most underrated players ever was Christian Daly. Honestly, underrated. It was unbelievable. Do you remember the game I was talking about when it was I can't even remember what player it was on. It wasn't even a minute into the game and he scurried somebody right in the middle of the park, and that's it. I'm being tongue-in-cheek and it's one of my favourite players.
I know what you're saying. I was thinking back to Levski Sofia or somewhere. I think it was that night or that day. He was part of that debacle. But anyway, aye.
All the folk always winning on the. It used to be winning as soon as you get in that park and things like that. And they used to say it used to be winning the tunnel. See, the on Southside, I honestly believe that we need to have like that sort of Christian Daly attitude. It wasn't great, but honestly, wasn't it great? I think we need to go out that bus some more with the chest pumped out and the head held high and just every bit of confidence and just go out there, because that's what it'll start for the most of the very second we get off that bus.
Aye, I agree 100%. Probably stick some of the tunes on with it on the way up for the players and all, and that would really fire it up, you know. But I come out with your chest out because you know you're going to get a barrel of abuse, but just get in there and have no fear. You know, we shouldn't have any fear, and that's the thing. It's just go up there and just play the way we know we can play. We've seen it in bits and bobs this season, and let's be honest, when teams come at us, we seem to be quite good with that, because Hibs and Hearts had a go, and they decided to have a go at us, and then we opened them up, and aye, there was a difference of level and whatever at the moment, but against them and Hibs and Hearts, but it's there, George. We shouldn't have any fear, mate. You know, and hopefully if we get Raskin and Cantwell, Tillman, and we've got good players that are playing well on the day, we'll have no fear, and we can do the damage tomorrow, and that will absolutely shock them. Rangers are 4-1 tomorrow, get on 5-1 tomorrow. You know, what a bet they're giving us tomorrow, so it's got to believe that we can do this, and I don't see how we don't believe. You know, it's just a game of football, and we'll prove tomorrow that we're better than them.
Yeah, so if you go with 50 on Rangers tomorrow early on, then you put the winnings on the Southside Super 6, you'll pick up about $4,000, is that right?
Aye, there you go.
Easy money, Bobby, yeah?
Easy money, but I'm not looking for $4,000. I'm just looking for a good night out, mate.
Wait a minute, Bobby. Carry on, Bobby. Those yours, Bobby.
I'm not looking for $4,000 or something. I'm just looking for a good night out. So Southside's going to do it for me, and I'm going to put 20 quid on it. So that'll get me my night out.
I've had a couple of good nights out with Southside, I must be honest. Right.
If there's certainly catching on in it.
Right. We're near the end of the show. Put you on the spot. How's it going to go tomorrow, Jaffa?
2-1 Rangers.
In a place called Gibraltar, well known as a rock, 3 Irish scumbags were counting their stock. When along came some soldiers, they are Britain's best, and they're known the whole world over.
Oh, yes.
Right. How's it going, Jaffa?
I'm going 2-1 Rangers.
2-1. Port Bear?
I'm going 3-1, mate. That's how confident I am. 3-1 to the Rangers.
George?
I'm not going to make that prediction, because I'm a fence sitter, I'm afraid to say, but I hope we get a win tomorrow. I really think we can get a win tomorrow, so that's what I'll say.
Bobby?
2-1 Rangers. Sakala first goal.
Bobby, what would you rather have, the 2-1 Rangers or the Southside Super 6-up?
2-1 Rangers.
Thank you, Bobby. Big Southside.
Can't believe A3 are getting goals against the Rangers, honestly. 2-0. That'll do me. These are shameful, by the way, honestly. Shameful.
All right, I'll go for 5-4 then.
Wait, I'm changing. I'm going 2-1, but their goal gets chopped off with VAR.
I'm going to go as a mark of respect to the bridge man. I'm going for a bridge for the Rangers.
Aye. Imagine they're 2-0 up. 2-0 up, and you're sitting there going, I hope they score against us to get my cup. No, shameful, you 3. Shameful. 2-0 to the Bears. 2-0 to the Bears.
Right, well, gentlemen, we've reached that time of the evening. Last word, Bobby.
Hi, great jobs. I fairly enjoy coming on every night, most nights when I'm on, but I just hope, listen, I've got the battle fever on, I just hope the Bears do it for every Rangers supporter. Get us out of this gloom. Just beat them and more than that's what I wish for. That'll be my highlight tomorrow, mate.
Bobby, see, before you move, have you got a shovel?
What for?
I'm looking for 600 grand. I'm looking for 600 grand.
We're going digging in Uddingston.
Georgie Logan.
I'll go with the words for your last song you just played there, or Fox, whoever just played there, and the sound of the battle, but it's shoulder to shoulder will stand. I hope you're standing shoulder to shoulder more than the rest of the game, Ox, and we'll got another 3 points in the bag. That's what I'll be hoping for tomorrow.
Yeah, big South Side.
Just come on, the Glasgow Rangers, step up and play tomorrow. That's what we're asking. Bring back the 3 points.
Port Bear.
Let's be part of the biggest bouncy in Scotland, Ox. 3-1 to Rangers. Come down there after giving them an absolute battering.
Just get us a result, Jaffa, because if Cal's were done weeks, this wasn't bad, was it?
No bad at all. Absolutely. Come on, the Rangers. Get wired right into them. Get wired right into them.
Aye, thanks for that. Thanks to Bobby, George, and the one and only Southside for joining Jaffa and Port Bear on the show. You can also give a shout out once again to our Huey, Terry's old man. Without him, making him such a blue nose, we would have a Rangers radio along with Fox. Thanks for listening. We'll be back tomorrow. An hour before the kick-off, building up to Rangers victory. Take it away, old school blue.
I've even heard the underlegs the best they've ever seen. The Manchester United and Tottenham Hotspur too. Every game, well, I'm authorizing of the voice of